This is my concluding video on the reading series Annihilation of Caste. In the description of this video, I will read a list which will help the viewer browse through the videos in a specific order which makes more sense than if they were to do it randomly. Although each video stands by itself, it touches upon a topic and completely covers it, so that's not an issue. However, I think the viewer will be better enriched if I use this time to help them understand the timeline, the historical incidents, and also the big players around the same time, or at least 20 years before 1936. So for 20 years, if I share that, that will help the viewer understand, give a backdrop, give color and context as to what has informed Dr. Ambedkar to come with such a powerful treatise as Annihilation of Caste, and also help us understand what all went into the making of this man, a leader, and also a bodhisattva that he was at that point in time. I will start this with 1917. So there is a little bit of history before that, but I will start at 1917. A young 26-year-old Dr. Ambedkar comes back from Columbia University after staying there for 3 years. The first thing Dr. Ambedkar has to get used to is the fact that he's an untouchable, and as an untouchable, he is trouble for himself and for others. This gets really thrown in his face when he goes on his first job, and at this new city, he is not given any accommodation. In the office that he works, even low-level clerks or uneducated peons don't hand him water, or they throw files onto his desk from far away. So clearly showing him that he might be educated, he might be wearing a suit, he might be clean physically, but as far as they are concerned, he is somebody who they'll get polluted by. He is just an untouchable. After a few days of living there and actually struggling with accommodation and actually getting run out by a mob, Dr. Ambedkar, sitting in the railway station returning back home, makes his first determination that if he, who has had such good education, had great education abroad, cannot be treated well by Hindus, what is the plight of my fellow untouchables, depressed classes? So that day he makes a determination that he will spend the rest of his life, if he has to fight for their rights and to fight for their dignity and to fight for equality for them. So that's the first incident that happens in Dr. Ambedkar's life, which informs him that Hindus will always treat him an untouchable, irrespective of what education, how he looks, or how he presents himself. The second thing that he realizes is that he sees all these political reformers, secular Brahmins, and he realizes that they actually don't care for the untouchables. And this is very evident when Southborough Commission in 1918 comes over to India to study the population, the demographics, and kind of their focus is how do we give equal representation to all of them. Immediately, all privileged caste Hindus and Indian National Congress surely pushes back, and that's where we get "Go Back Simon" as a slogan, because they don't want them to implement that representative system. So that's the first thing. So Dr. Ambedkar is slowly learning that there is not a big difference between priestly Brahmins and the secular Brahmins. What they want and what they mean by Swaraj, home rule, is basically rule of the Brahmins. A few other things inform Dr. Ambedkar. He actually hosts a protest march to a public lake to open it up. And he is met with a huge resistance because untouchables are not allowed to take water from there. Another thing he also does is he tries something where, for rights, he marches on to a temple, Kala Ram Mandir, and tries to walk into it. Basically, the priests and everybody, and even Gandhi and others, kind of supported from the outside. But the matter of fact is, when these untouchables actually arrive at Kalaram Mandir, its gates are closed. There are locks, huge locks on the gates, and nobody's allowed to enter. The priests are actually on the other side, opposed to untouchables walking in. And in fact, some protesters, counter-protesters, shower Dr. Ambedkar and his party with rocks, and his followers actually have to protect him from getting injured. So, so some of those things happen. And also, as much as Indian National Congress and Gandhi and everybody says that they want to treat the untouchables and elevate the untouchables, when push comes to shove, Dr. Ambedkar realizes that they're actually not on the side of the depressed castes. This is very, very evident in the second roundtable conference, where Gandhi arrives as Indian National Congress's representative. Apart from straight up arguing that that safeguards should not be given to untouchables, Gandhi proceeds to actually question the authenticity of Dr. Ambedkar being there as the depressed classes leader. So instead of actually talking on the topic, he actually punches under the belt. And Dr. Ambedkar has to scamper and get various people from India, send telegrams back to London, roundtable conference being held in London, to the chair committee and everybody, to actually stating that untouchables in Punjab, Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, central provinces all actually see Dr. Ambedkar and only Dr. Ambedkar as their true representative. So that's the first under the belt punch that Dr. Gandhi deals. A much lesser known thing about Gandhi is when he realizes that his ploy to restrict safeguards for the untouchables is not going to succeed. He actually invites the Muslim League for a dinner over that night, and he puts in front of them a proposal stating that if Muslim League leaders oppose Dr. Ambedkar's demands, then he will sign on a blank sheet of paper and agree to every single of the 14 demands that the Muslim League is making, and make sure that Indian National Congress will approve them, though they have actually not approved of them. So that's the level that Gandhi falls to make sure that the depressed classes don't get their safeguards. Barring that, Muslim League leaders, being those of integrity, don't proceed with it. They push back on Gandhi and say that we can't do that because we ourselves are asking for similar safeguards. We can't in all good conscience oppose Dr. Ambedkar. So the matter ends there, and Dr. Ambedkar comes back to India with separate electorates for depressed classes. Gandhi then goes on a hunger fast till death to make sure that Dr. Ambedkar actually renounces those safeguards that he has so fought for so hard, and he had made so many sacrifices to win. So Dr. Ambedkar is also now slowly seeing that even if he were to win something for his people, Hindus, caste Hindus, Brahmins, Indian National Congress, and the ruling castes actually will not let him get away with it, even if it was hard-earned and honestly earned. So that happens in 1932 or 33. So we are pretty close to 1936 when Annihilation of Caste is, the speech was about to be delivered, the meeting where Dr. Ambedkar was invited. So the other thing which happens is all of this has informed Dr. Ambedkar that as long as he is in the Hindu religion, as long as untouchables remain in the Hindu fold, they have no way of emancipation. So in 1935, Dr. Ambedkar already states that he was born a Hindu, he had no control over it, but he's surely not going to die a Hindu. And at that point in time, he is now thinking about conversion as an option, if not for political, economic, or social benefits, at least for a spiritual benefit, because an untouchable under Hindu fold has no such spiritual enlightenment, nothing spiritual. He is just treated as worthless. So in 1935, Dr. Ambedkar is already thinking of leaving the Hindu fold, and hearing this and knowing all this in context, he is still invited to this Jatpat Todak Mandal to deliver his speech that he titles Annihilation of Caste. Dr. Ambedkar is actually very reluctant to preside over it because he already knows that his opinions are going to be very, very unwelcome. But I think he still proceeds with it and delivers wants to deliver it on their persuasion, but also thinking that, well, there is a cause of a good social, there is a good social cause. So he, knowing all that he knows, he can actually put forth his thoughts. Obviously, from all that you must have gathered so far, and they actually cancel the meeting on accounts that what Dr. Ambedkar would share as part of his presiding speech would be unbearable for them. So that tells me that caste Hindus are not ready, and in some ways they were probably just trying to see if Dr. Ambedkar would put his own plans of conversion or whatnot on hold if given such a platform where he could address Hindus. Perhaps that he would see that they might want to change or mostly adjust, not actually annihilate caste, and that might give him pause and they can come up with other strategies perhaps. Because Dr. Ambedkar leaving the Hindu fold and taking along with him a lot of untouchables over a period of time would mean a lot of loss of voting block for them. So those are all the things that happen. And the most important thing we can see is while Dr. Ambedkar is preparing for annihilation of caste against his wishes, because he's put on the spot, he is much more interested in a conference of his own caste, wherein he is sharing with the people his bigger plan as to how to emancipate themselves. And that is what he calls path to salvation. So the focus of Dr. Ambedkar is actually on path to salvation. He's not very invested in annihilation of caste. This is something I always want our community leaders to focus on. Because of the of how notoriously known annihilation of caste is, we all focus on that, and I don't want us to focus on that other than learning enough to be able to answer caste Hindu questions. But I want to make sure that community, untouchable leaders, Dalit leaders, however you want to call yourself, SC leaders, focus more on the other options Dr. Ambedkar has given to us as a bodhisattva to emancipate ourselves. So I may have rushed through this, but there is so much of it that I wanted to get through it. But these are the various things that inform Dr. Ambedkar as to how he comes up with this treatise, Annihilation of Caste, and also what make him the man he is, the leader he is, and the bodhisattva that he is at this point in time. Thank you so much for watching this whole series or videos here and there. Let me know if you have any feedback and what you might want me to cover next. So thank you so much.